This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
And we are off and ready to go. Welcome. It is midnight, back 12:02 on the nose, and we're underway with Midnight Run with yours truly, AA Anthony Alford here with you. I just realized I just retweeted myself, so I'm seeing myself on the other screen, not moving in sync. It was kind of frightening me. So let me get that off real quick. But again, we're on the Inside Edge Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Inside Edge Net. Again, Midnight Run every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at midnight with me, AA Anthony Alford. Glad to have you with us. Eli Moon's my producer. You'll see him throughout the hour. I got to tell you, we're off ready to go. And in the last hour, I was just coughing nonstop. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? I didn't even fire up TikTok here yet. Maybe later on in the show, but excuse me. Had to get the coffee and got to get things going here. But happy to be with you for Midnight Run. We're going to talk Cavs and Knicks. James Harden, significant news as far as his injury. He's going to try to play through it as the Cavaliers get ready for a stretch. We're going to face Detroit twice in this stretch. They almost beat Milwaukee. Jared Allen was just a tenth of a second away from sending this game tonight to overtime against Milwaukee. But I thought the Cavs played hard, even though a lot of folks were out against Milwaukee, and they competed. So I'm going to ask, after the Cavs-Knicks game, who has more pressure to win the Eastern Conference? Is it the Cavaliers or the Knicks? And then we got a brand new segment, Unpack Wednesdays, which we'll get into later in the show. And my workout of the week, we'll get into that as well. And Ohio State, unserious basketball program. Just an embarrassment. But I tweeted earlier today, we're going to start with the Browns. Of course, the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, which one day I will attend. Hopefully we can send a network there too. But we always say based on new information. And based on new information, it is my belief, whether we like it or not, whether it's the best decision possible, it is my belief that Deshaun Watson will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in week 1. Yes, Deshaun Watson. Nothing has indicated to me that Todd Monken, he likes Shedeur Sanders, but nothing has indicated to me that Shedeur Sanders blew things out of the water. Shedeur Sanders, even though I'm very confident in Shedeur Sanders, he did not lock in. And I said this on Main Event with Eli and Rob Rozicki on Sunday nights. I'm like, I like what I see from Shedeur Sanders, but Shedeur Sanders did not do enough to lock in the QB1 job in 2026. I believe, based on the comments that we're going to play here in a few moments from Todd Monken, based on the fact that this is a one-year opportunity for Todd Monken and for Andrew Berry and for the Cleveland Browns, and there's 250 million reasons why you want to find out for sure that you have an investment that's worth what you're paying. Deshaun Watson is going to start the season as QB1 to the point where, Andrew Berry mentioned that, and Monken mentioned it's going to be an open competition and things like that. I think this will be approached way differently than last year. I don't get the sense that this will be approached in the sense of, we're going to have 4 quarterbacks get equal time, or 2 quarterbacks. Well, what was it last year? Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett got starter reps, and then Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, they were competing for backup or rookie reps, stuff like that. I think there will be a pecking order. And the pecking order is going to start with Deshaun Watson. take a listen. We got two cuts from Monken. I'm going to start here, Eli, with the first cut, cut number one. Todd Monken explaining what he sees in Deshaun Watson.
I think any time that you have a player that at one time has exhibited the skill set at an elite level, I think you're always going to give them the benefit of the doubt that somehow we might be able to get that out of them again. And I think that's how you should look at every player. I've said that. You guys have heard me say it. I'm going to let it play out. I think it'd be completely unfair, just like it would be in any classroom setting, be it a history exam, and all the students walk in, and before they're actually given the exam, you give them a grade. Well, how would you give them a grade? Based on male, female, race, how they look, how they're dressed? I think that's unfair. Now, you're going to have some preconceived notions, obviously, because we have prior evidence, but that's up. I don't decide who plays. The players decide who plays. I've never decided who plays.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. If that's ever BS, then okay. Want to give a quick shout out to Spencer German, my buddy who works over at the Fan Locked On Browns. He took video of that particular cut with Todd Monken talking about Deshaun Watson. And let me lay it to you out like this with Deshaun. Deshaun Watson at this point is like a 2018 Tesla, which had an extensive Carfax history. For whatever reason, ran up on miles. For whatever reason, the operator of the Tesla didn't know how to run a Tesla and was just happy about having a Tesla, but unfortunately didn't know the controls, ran up the mileage, and has had problems, major problems with the Tesla for years and years and years for whatever reason. It has changed multiple owners, has had a lot of problems, but at the end of the day, you hear the word Tesla, even in 2026, even though in this prime example where you saying this is a 2018 or 2017, that's when Deshaun Watson came out of the draft. This is a 2017 Tesla. When you hear that you have a Tesla in your garage, you want to get full use out of it. And that's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns paid for a Tesla. They paid for an older Tesla with loads of baggage. And that's how they feel about Deshaun Watson. Shedeur Sanders did not lock in the job. And you have new people in there. Todd Monken, we talked about this. This is his one shot at being a head coach. He is not here to oversee a developmental program. And the fact is, Todd Monken and Andrew Berry, they may not be here to oversee a developmental program if things don't work out in 2026. So they don't even have the patience to allow Shedeur Sanders to grow, even though they like what they see out of Shedeur. But it is clear that with all the investments they made at Deshaun Watson, in my eyes, he's going to get QB1 reps. And in my eyes, unless there's some catastrophic injury or setback during training camp, he's starting week 1. Now, this is not me asking whether or not he can keep that job. Me personally, I don't think so. I think this is a beat-up Tesla. If you're looking for somebody to rekindle the numbers that they had in 2019, we're 7 years removed. I just don't see it. But going into the season, yeah, this is going to be what it is. I wanted to point this out too. Spot Track on Twitter laid out the 2026 cap hits, top 5 cap hits out of the quarterbacks. Number 5, Josh, coming into 2026. Number 5, Josh Allen, $56.3 million. Number 4, Jared Goff, $69.6 million. Dak Prescott's number 3 was $74 million. Lamar Jackson is number 2 on that list, $74.5 million. Deshaun Watson, the top cap hit, number 1, $80.7 million. in terms of a cap hit. That's what the Browns have invested in him. And we're not even talking from the standpoint of how much morals and standards Deshaun Watson. Like, that's out the window too, right? Yeah, good luck trying to convince fans, get season tickets. But the problem is they have so much invested in Deshaun. It has to happen. And again, that's not to say that Todd Monken doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. But take a listen. We're going to play Monken 02 here. I just don't get the sense that, Monken likes Shedeur, but in his eyes, in my opinion, Shedeur did not show enough to ensure that he is going to be QB1 going into 2026. Take a look at this.
Sure he can. I think what you see is elite playmaking ability. That's in him. You've seen it. We've seen it. You saw it in college. You saw it on tape last year. Sure, there's a ways to go, but what rookie isn't? What first-year player doesn't have a long way to go? So I'm excited to get started with him and all of our quarterbacks and all of our players.
He's excited, but I don't get the sense that he is putting his whole backing into Shedeur, which, in my opinion, is a mistake. I get it, though, it's pressure. I think a lot of it is pressure from the organization, knowing that you have something invested, you have something expensive in your garage that you have to see fulfilled. You can't, you can't dump Deshaun Watson on June 1st this year. Like, Deshaun is going to be on the roster. You don't have the excuse last year of, he was hurt. So the fact that Shedeur did not take the reins of the job last season has opened the door for this. It's opened the door for the Malik Willis conversation. It's just opened the door for a lot of those things. And I don't like it. I don't like it because, again, in my personal opinion, I think Shedeur Sanders is that dude. I think Shedeur Sanders can make those big plays. If you give him an offensive line, that's the other problem. We'll get to it in 2 seconds. You give him some form of an offensive line. You saw what Shedeur was able to do with Harold Fannin, that Pittsburgh game this past season. Him and Harold Fannin, Shedeur and Harold Fannin. That was that combo. They handled business. And you have somebody who was able to make big-time decisions, who had a big arm. He could move with his legs. He could create plays. He was a playmaker in an offense that doesn't allow playmakers. Kevin Stefanski. He did that. Shedeur did that. But the problem is, even though you have a young prospect with low mileage, at Shedeur, you have that expensive 2017 Tesla in your garage, and you want to see if it works. You want to see it. And this is why, let me bring in Eli here. Eli's my producer. He's the host of Inside Edge Prime Time on the network. And he's my co-host with Robert Zicki on the Main Event on Sundays. Eli, I'm not saying this, like, sometimes, and you've known me for 10 years now, 11 years now, there are times where I have takes that I'm not proud of. I'm not proud of this take. I'm not, this is not a take where, like, yeah, Deshaun Watson, yeah. But you know me, sometimes I have to forecast something that's uncomfortable. And this is the vibe I'm getting in terms of the Browns, Deshaun Watson, and him starting week 1, Eli.
Yeah, it's tough, Double. I said on Primetime with Chad that I think Todd Monken, it's still his first month or so with the team. He doesn't want to close any doors. And if he feels, excited about this offense, which we were talking all coaching search throughout the network, somebody's got to be excited about coaching this offense. And it seems like Todd Monken is excited about coaching Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin, all these offensive guys. I just don't think he wants to close any door on it. I'm not a fan of them bringing Deshaun Watson in. I can see where you're leaning towards that because there wasn't a standout performance, above 500 performance by Shedeur, rookie of the year, performance by either of these quarterbacks. But I think we're looking at Todd Monken just making sure he doesn't close the door on anything too soon and seeing what he truly has here. I think we are going to see Shedeur get the opportunity. I do think we do see him get this opportunity. I think he played well enough at the end of 2025. I think there's not enough of a rookie draft class that really stands in the way of outperforming him. And I think, when you look at the rest of the quarterbacks on this roster, Deshaun Watson, I feel like we know, you keep talking about Tesla, so we know what we got with him. And Dylan Gabriel, we seen that experiment. So I don't know, Double A.
No, Dylan Gabriel is a used car that ran up in mileage even after a rookie. Dylan's not even in this picture. Whatever with Dylan. But I think you do bring up an interesting point, though, that we did talk about it. You guys were on top of it during the coaching search. Every coach that was interviewed for this job, Eli, I believe, had to have a plan for not only Shedeur Sanders, but they were asked about Deshaun Watson. And I think some of those younger candidates that were interviewed did not have a plan for Deshaun Watson. And Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam shied away from the younger candidates because I think they wanted nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. And ownership in the front office said, too bad, Deshaun's here.
Yeah, something I presented on Main Event was maybe that the Browns are trying to present this preseason, this camp and everything leading up to regular season as a way to maybe, just maybe get off this Deshaun Watson contract. Eat a majority of the money, but have a team take a little bit of it and see if they can develop Deshaun Watson, and take the chance on him elsewhere. A change of scenery. NFL teams love saying, change of scenery, and they've seen it happen for like Sam Darnold and other guys, but I mean, maybe that's the only way the Browns really can shape this because I think you know what you're getting with Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter what coach you bring in. I think the talent is tapped in terms of on the field, and I think off the field there's too much distractions. The guy would rather be on TikTok than on the field. I don't know. He's never even with the team half the time, so I don't know, Double A. Just not good.
It's a tough situation. Thank you, Eli. It's a tough situation, but this is what they got themselves into. And again, how many times have we heard from reporters? And I'm not saying shoot the messenger with the reporters. I'm not doing that at all. They're doing a great job. How many times have we heard, the most talented quarterback in the room was Deshaun? But I truly believe that, like every head coaching candidate, including Jim Schwartz, was asked, what are you going to do with Deshaun Watson? And it seemed to me that Todd Monken is the only one that had an answer for what you do with Deshaun. Dion, my buddy from high school, he's chiming in right now. Man, shout out to Maple. Maptown in the building. He mentions Shedeur has 2026 to prove he's the guy moving forward. Yes, because 2027 is a loaded draft class. That is 1,000% correct. This is a loaded draft class. Excuse me. In a perfect world, if Deshaun wasn't in the picture, Shedeur Sanders would get the starting job. He would earn a starting job. Fine. Make him earn a starting job. He's young. Make him earn it. Fine. Okay. And he has 17 games to prove that he could contend. In a division, by the way, we are so screwed right now because we have no offensive line. We're still waiting word on what's going to happen with Joe Bitonio. And maybe there's a chance Bitonio comes back. But if Bitonio doesn't come back, you have a Browns team that has to replace its entire offensive line. Nobody has done that. Nobody has replaced all 5 offensive line starters in one offseason since 1970. It hasn't happened. So can the Shedeur handle that? Could Deshaun handle that? Or is the quarterback that you need to handle that outside of the building? The big talk has been Malik Willis. Because this free agency class, from a quarterback standpoint, is weak, you're going to have to if you want Malik Willis here, you're going to have to overpay him. You're going to have to pay him like he is a legitimate starter. You're not going to be able, and I hate to say this, you're the Browns. You're going to have to spend more money than other competition to get him. Deshaun knows that. Deshaun knows that. Deshaun said, no, I'm good. And then they swooped around $250 million later. All right, I love Cleveland. I love Cleveland. The other reason, too, Malik Willis and Deshaun Watson, as we talked about, they share the same agent. So I think because they have big plans for Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't expect Malik Willis to come here. But again, things change. Things change on that front. But yeah, which quarterback can handle a young offensive line, an unproven offensive line that has nothing available? It's going to be a tough call. But again, based on those comments with Todd Monken, based on what we heard with Andrew Berry, based on those comments, as of February 26, 12:23 a.m., it is my prediction that Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in week 1. Will he keep that job? Probably not. We haven't even talked about the injury factor as well. So can he even stay healthy? Can he even play? Can he make strong throws? Can he get back up to speed, NFL speed? Those are loaded questions that cannot be answered until live game action. But at 7-on-7, he's going to look fantastic, and that's why he's going to get the job going into week 1. Alley Rose Fragrances. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. That's what you have to get. The candles are fantastic. I have to order new ones. I heard Chad talk about his wife and her office is like, oh yeah, as soon as you walk upstairs, you smell it. You smell it. It's fantastic. And it's true here. I had it in my living room for over a week. And the burn time is fantastic. Natural ingredients. It's incredible. It smells good. And here's the best part. When it's delivered, the moment you open the box, you just smell it. It's fantastic. It's great. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And you'll see during the commercial break some of the candles that is available with Alley Rose Fragrances. I had the Frosted Berry. I might order the Snickerdoodle one next. I might get that one. Oh, man. Might get that one. But every person should want a good smelling home. No matter how big or small the home is, you want a good smelling home. You want a good smelling office. AlleyRoseFragrances.com has you covered. My friend Allison, my coworker Allison, she personally makes these candles. She personally makes body mist as well. So if you have a significant other and you want her to have a great gift, shower or whatnot, body mist is there too. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use that promo code InsideEdge20. InsideEdge20, you get 20% off your order. And I'm telling you, you're going to embrace it. Get the gifts for yourself. Get the gifts for your loved ones. Phenomenal candles, phenomenal body mist. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Who has more pressure to win? The Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or the New York Knicks? And also, we debut Unpack Wednesday. We talk about Mayweather and Pacquiao. Yeah, the old timers getting back in the ring because their first fight was an all-time classic. Yeah, we'll be back in just a moment. This is Midnight Run with Anthony Alford here on the Inside Edge Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford. This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
We're going to talk Cavs in 2 seconds. I want to bring up one other comment here from Dion, my buddy from high school. He said here, don't be surprised if we bring in Mariota as a camp run. Malik is off the table. Maybe Kyler Murray is in play. I don't want anything to do with Kyler Murray. No. Not here. No. You're in the AFC North. You need big bodies in the AFC North. I'm a little surprised Pittsburgh's not giving Will Howard a little bit more of a run. They're going to find out. They're the Aaron Rodgers As the World Turns annual soap opera there in Pittsburgh. But, Will Howard is your ideal body in the Great Lakes. Kyler Murray, too small. The injury issues is a huge question. And maturity is a bit of a question. And just can he be durable in the AFC North? That would be tricky. He's probably going to command too much money. So I don't think he's a good fit for that reason. Tua is another guy that could be available. My concerns with Tua is the same as it is with Kyler Murray in Cleveland. I think that would be tricky. Actually, if you want to look at a potential landing spot for Malik Willis, Arizona could be a landing spot for Malik Willis, especially if they don't believe that Jacoby Brissett. Here's the interesting thing, real quick, then we'll transition to the Cavs. Let me bring Eli back on here because we're both involved in fantasy football. Arizona is never on national television.
No,
we don't see a lick of Arizona Cardinals football in Cleveland at all.
No, every now and then a 4:00 game. Every now and then you'll get to see him like 4:25. It's like a 33-30 like overtime thriller. Then you just don't see him the rest of the year.
Yeah. So I had Jacoby Brissett in fantasy football.
You did. You sure did.
From a fantasy football standpoint, Jacoby Brissett's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, and you're planning on rolling with him again next year. It sounds like.
Maybe. We need to have discussions about that. But when you actually watch the Arizona games or you see the score updates, it's like, Jacoby Brissett had crazy numbers, but they're usually down by 20.
Yeah. They had running back issues. I know they were hurt at certain points, but the Cardinals, they're tough, man. They're and not the good type of tough. It's tough being a Cardinals fan, kind of like the NFC version of the Browns. Yeah, and
they're in similar situations where the other 3 teams in the division are always talked about as potential championship contenders when things are going right. And then there's Arizona, just like us here in Cleveland. There's us with Cleveland. But championship contenders, we do have a championship contender here in Cleveland, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, unfortunately, James Harden, we all knew this was coming. Not because of James Harden, but it's a Cleveland thing. Man, just when things are going good, we get the alert from the Cavs about James Harden's injury. Let's play this video. This is from Shams. He was on ESPN earlier today describing James Harden's injury.
What can you tell us about the severity of James Harden's injury and his availability moving forward?
Malika, James Harden has been evaluated by a hand specialist, and I'm told he plans to play through that fracture in his right thumb moving forward. No surgery is required, so he will be playing on. There's going to be a lot of managing of the pain through treatment over the next few days. He might sit tonight in Milwaukee to let that thumb calm down. He wants to play through this injury. He will be playing through this injury. Expect him to wear a wrap or a splint. He's played through an assortment of injuries throughout his NBA career, and now this fracture in his right thumb will be just another. But James Harden avoiding surgery. Okay. He will be playing on with this fracture in his right thumb.
Okay.
Boy, So obviously he did not play against Milwaukee tonight, but we should see him against Detroit. What a stretch, by the way, for the Cavaliers in terms of scheduling. This is nuts. The Cavs' next few games here. Detroit on Friday. It's a national televised game, national TV game. Brooklyn on Sunday. And then Detroit on Tuesday. Then they have like a 5-day break before their game against Boston. Sunday, March 8th. Am I reading this schedule correctly? So that they have Detroit on Friday.
I think what's the date on that double A?
So I have Detroit on Friday. That's correct. Yes. Brooklyn March 1st, Sunday. Detroit.
Yeah.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
And then Boston Sunday, March 8th.
Yeah, I thought maybe we were getting mixed up with the February, the 28th of February. No, that's a long stretch.
It's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
That big break, that is not as bad as I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did I look like I just hit the lotto? But first off, kudos to the Cavs because they had the stretch out of the All-Star break. What was it? 3 out of 4 days they play a game. I think 5 out of 7 days they had games. So, boy, they needed that W against the Knicks in a bad, bad way. And by the way, shout out to Jared Allen. Jared Allen, even though in a losing effort, Jared Allen was a tenth of a second away from sending tonight's game into overtime against Milwaukee. He was the leading scorer, finishing with 17 points, 11 rebounds. And we've talked about it all week, especially with James Harden. He's still going to be in this lineup, which is huge because your top 3 scoring options is Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Jared Allen. Evan Mobley's going to have to pick his spots, and we'll see what happens when Max Strus is worked back into the lineup, which we are hearing is very soon, that we should be getting Max Strus back in. But my question, so the news with James Harden, it could have been a lot worse. Hopefully it won't be any worse than what it is. And he will play through it. Hopefully he's quick and things like that. But my question, who has more pressure to win the Eastern Conference? Is it the Cleveland Cavaliers or the New York Knicks? We all know our story, us being a Cleveland-based show. Here in Cleveland, we know our story. But let me remind you of the Knicks story. An abbreviated version of the Knicks story because Stephen A. Smith can tell you the origin blue skies. I thought it was cute, but I hated it. But I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. But remember the Knicks, they made some critical trades this past year to beef up. Karl Anthony Towns, again, to go alongside Jalen Brunson. So you got all these things going out with the Knicks. And, man, to only score 11 points in the third quarter against Cleveland Tuesday night. Basically, New York can't beat any top contenders in the regular season. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. But New York's issue is the lack of consistency. One day or 1 week, they rattle off, 10 straight W's. And then now, they're in a huge slump out of the All-Star break. Mike Brown, his lineups, his rotations are inconsistent. You just don't know what you're going to get from the Knicks on a night-in, night-out basis. And who's going to provide the scoring load for the Knicks on a night-in and night-out basis. And that's the difference. The Cavaliers have a level of consistency at least. You know either Donovan Mitchell or James Harden, and hopefully Jared Allen is in that conversation too. You know where the scoring is going to come from on a nightly basis with us. Detroit, same deal. Boston, same deal. Brown might win the MVP for the Boston Celtics. So you know what's at stake there. But I always say this. about playoff teams, championship windows, championship contenders. If you don't win, it's so hard to get back. And even if the Knicks, and here's why I say this. Because it's New York, it seems like the sky is falling, right? In the immediate, the answer could be the Knicks, right? Because the path seems a bit harder for the Knicks. The real answer is Cleveland. The answer to this question is Cleveland. Because the Knicks will always be deemed a destination town, a destination city, New York. They'll find a way to reload the books if things don't work out. Can you say the same about the Cavs if they fall short this year? Of course, there's a big elephant in the room that's in Los Angeles, but we've talked extensively that I don't see a path where the LeBron retirement tour happens here in Cleveland. That doesn't mean I don't want it. I just don't see a path. And even if the LeBron retirement tour did happen here in Cleveland, are you just adding LeBron, or do you have to do a sign and trade away Jared Allen? Do some other things to add LeBron? And is it a guarantee that LeBron actually signs a veteran minimum? I don't know. And honestly, I don't think so. It's LeBron James. I don't see LeBron is not signing a vet minimum contract. He's just not. He could, he should, but what actions has he illustrated throughout his entire career tells you that he's going to sign a vet minimum? When he was here in Cleveland, the second go around, Cleveland could have built a roster to contend with Golden State, even with Kevin Durant and Golden State. They could have built the roster. But LeBron never signed a long-term deal. He always signed max one-year deals. So there was never enough money for Cleveland to build a roster around LeBron James with credible free agents at that time. You had to stick with young guys. And then when LeBron left, the roster was demolished, basically. But yeah, back to the question, definitely more pressure for the Cavaliers to win because at least the Knicks can reload. I don't think the Cavs can. And then not even to address, too, with the Eastern Conference, we all know. While Jaylen Brown, he's doing his thing, we know Jason Tatum's going to come back. We know Tyrese Halliburton is going to be back next year. And other teams will ascend. Orlando's going to get better. So you already have a loaded Eastern Conference that's going to be even better next year. Not to even account, Detroit can only go up from here, believe it or not. So there's definitely more pressure. And here's the last point. You got guys on the Cavs who people are rooting for. People are rooting for James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, especially Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell might be the most beloved player in the NBA. Everyone loves Donovan Mitchell. People are coming around to James Harden. Even despite his baggage in the past, James Harden is balling. And Jared Allen is a very likable guy. Evan Mobley is a likable guy. None of them have a good history in the playoffs. None of them. James Harden is the only one with Max Strus with finals experience. So legacy-wise, there's so much pressure. No matter what Cleveland does in the regular season, Cleveland might take 25 of the next 30 games. I didn't do the math. I think they have like 25 games left in the regular season. They can take 22 out of 25 games. The pressure is still going to be on the Cavs and solely the Cavs come playoff time. It's just going to be there. BA Sweeties, that's the place where you need to be. There's no pressure. when you go to BA Sweeties. It smells phenomenal when you go there. We talk about smelling products with Alley Rose fragrances, with the candles and body mist, but here with BA Sweeties, you can actually eat the candy. Excuse me, you can actually eat the candy. They have phenomenal treats at BA Sweeties, whether it's the current treats. You can get, my go-to candy, my go-to chocolate is always Kit Kats. You want to get to my heart, give me some Kit Kats, and we're good. But you can also get a lot of the classic candies as well at BA Sweeties. You can also get phenomenal popcorn. You can get classic popcorn, but you can also get phenomenal different flavored popcorn as well. In fact, when I go there, I'm gonna go to BA Sweeties before the Elimination Chamber on Saturday and get the Buffalo Ranch popcorn. I wonder if they still have that. It's phenomenal. But cheddar cheese popcorn, load up on that, load up on the snacks, and you'll be good. Jelly beans, if you're a jelly beans fan, let's go. Let's get it. BA Sweeties. And of course, you got to get your 6-pack of classic sodas out of the bottles. If you don't know, if you've never tried a soda out of a glass bottle, cane sugar, there is a difference, ladies and gentlemen, in flavor and taste with glass bottle sodas compared to the stuff you get at the gas station. This ain't gas station stuff. This is classic, legitimate stuff you can get at BA Sweeties. It's here in Cleveland, Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit. Make a left up Brook Park Road. You'll see a giant lollipop, and you head right in. Speaking of lollipop, you see it on the screen. When you are checking out, you have your order, you're ready to go. When you check out, mention lollipop. You'll get a discount on your order. Again, that's an in-store promotion only. So when you are checking out, mention the word lollipop. Tell them that AA Anthony Alford sent you there for the Inside Edge Network. Tell them that AA Kyle sent you Inside Hustle Wrestling Podcast. We have you covered with BA Sweeties. It is the largest candy store in North America, over 75 years of business. Speaking of which, make sure, I just realized, by the way, this is mirrored. So I see the QR code over here, but it might be over here. But make sure that you click over to the QR code and like and subscribe to the Inside Edge Network at Inside Edge Network on YouTube. Get phenomenal programming every single day from all of our talented hosts. Coming up next, we'll briefly talk Ohio State, the unserious program that they are. And then also Unpack Wednesdays, a new segment here at Midnight Run. Mayweather Pacquiao. We have, what else do we have? Mayweather Pacquiao. We have Turk Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has a son that's competing in hockey. He might be the reason, Brock Lesnar's son might be the reason why Team USA doesn't repeat as gold medal winners in 2030 in hockey. You got to check that out coming up in just a bit. And we'll wrap up with Workout Wednesdays, my top workout you should experience this week. We're back in just a moment. Anthony Alford here with you. This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
I know it's in bad taste to admit that you didn't watch something because as a talk show host, you're supposed to admit that you watch everything. I did not watch a single second of Ohio State basketball. But when I saw the score, I was embarrassed. Like, can you imagine this Ohio State team being the reason why Miami of Ohio, who is still undefeated, doesn't make the NCAA tournament? I mean, they're an embarrassment. They lost to Iowa today, the men's team, 74-57. The women's team lost too, by the way, but they lost in overtime to Michigan. I think they blew a big lead, though. But Ohio State's women's team, they're still going to make the tournament. I believe they're in line to be a top 4 seed. But the men's team, I mean, this is an unserious program. It's embarrassing. In the past, Ohio State was at least competitive enough to, at least talk about them. At least, at least discuss them. They're not even like Cleveland, Ohio, our region, Northeast Ohio, is the de facto number 2 market for Ohio State athletics. We're the home away from home, obviously Columbus, but then Cleveland. I don't hear anybody ever talk about Ohio State basketball in the last several years. And every time they come close, the other day, well, Sunday, I'm at the gym working out on the treadmill, and on one TV is the Cavs getting smoked by OKC. And then on the very next television set, you had Ohio State and Michigan State. Ohio State was actually competing, contending. They had a lead for a little while, and then Michigan State took the lead and kind of pulled away, but Ohio State competed. This against Iowa, 74-57, is effing embarrassing. And I get it. It's very hard and almost impossible to have a top-rated football program and a top-rated basketball program. I get it. Very few could be Florida of the mid-2000s or even Ohio State of the mid-2000s. I get that. I understand that. But you have a little bit of NIL money. Do something. Bring in some quality players. And honestly, bring in a coach who is actually good enough to do the – you got to make some noise with this job. I think the job should be open. There should be a new head coach at Ohio State because right now the program is irrelevant. They're irrelevant. Like I said before, yes, I'm a sports talk host. I should admit that I watch everything, but I didn't see a second of Ohio State. I didn't know Ohio State was playing. But then when I see the score, I'm like, what's the point? And what? They're gonna be in the Big Ten tournament. They're not even gonna make it out of the Peacock round. I think the first round is on Peacock, and they won't even make it out of that. So just awful, just embarrassing. Anywho, shout out Bowling Green. I know they lost to Miami. Everybody lost to Miami, but Bowling Green having a great basketball season. They should be in the Cleveland portion of the MAC tournament. I will still stand by that among many things that the pandemic took away from us. In 2020, Bowling Green had its very best basketball season. Bowling Green was in line to make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1968. And the pandemic said, nah, we ain't doing that. Bowling Green hasn't been back close to winning the MAC tournament since. So I will be rooting for Bowling Green. If they make it far in the MAC tournament, I'm going to find a way to get to a game. All right, it is time for Unpack Wednesdays. A couple stories we just didn't get to, but of course, nonetheless, very, very important stuff that we do need to address. And we're going to start with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao 2, which is going to happen on Netflix. I think my producer Eli said it correctly here. Everyone's getting the Netflix bag. Netflix is paying these older fighters. And here's the deal. Excuse me, that's kind of nasty. Here's the deal. Because I'm not paying $100 to see this fight, I'm paying what? $8.99, $9.99, however much I pay for Netflix. I don't care if the fight's good or not. I can care less. I just hope they don't die. That's what it is. So if you're not charging extra for this fight, if it's just, hey, you just need a Netflix subscription, whatever new show is out, whatever, I don't care if the fight's good or not. I mean, I'll have thoughts, but I'm not going to burn my wallet watching this fight because it's on Netflix. This is perfect for and Netflix is spending the money on this. Fighters are covered. Yeah, I'm cool with this. Now, let me be clear, because again, I'm a fight fan. Their first fight sucked. Their first fight was absolute trash. The fact that Mayweather and Pacquiao didn't happen until 2015, it should have happened in 2009. It should have happened then. Or even 2012. By the time you got to 2012, it was a big enough super fight where it could have happened then. But, nah, they didn't do it. They finally got around to it in 20, and then Mayweather went over to Showtime. By the way, Floyd Mayweather is suing Showtime, or the former president of Showtime, because this is why Floyd Mayweather is coming back. All the payments that he made from the Showtime contract, he didn't get any of that money, allegedly. His old management team is receiving the Floyd Mayweather payments, kind of like a backdoor thing. So Floyd Mayweather has to come back and get the Netflix back because he's broke from the Showtime deal. Reading is important, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have a good contract. Got to go through all the details and make sure people around you aren't screwing you over. But the fight's on Netflix, so I'm cool with it. It's fine. I'm not paying I wouldn't pay $100 for this fight. I wouldn't go to a bar to watch this fight, but I'll chill at home and watch it. It's fine. They can be in their wheelchairs. I'll be perfectly fine. There's one other story we're going to get to. We're not going to have time to really unpack it until next week. We'll have an Olympic topic on this show next week, but I truly believe basketball should be added to the Winter Olympics. I will explain why next week. Brock Lesnar has a son. Brock Lesnar's son could be the reason why Team USA does not win the gold medal in hockey in 2030. Watch this little highlight package of Turk Lesnar.
This is a man's world. Hey. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman.
Started out rocking Batman with the geeks, swing then worked out the pot about the chick.
Big Hattie for the kid, man. Can you walk me through that third bingo?
I don't know. I just got it from, who was it? Beersy. And I don't know, I just kind of ripped it and it bar down. So.
Cue the highlights. Lots to come from the fellas. Good job, boys.
All of them talk my bad and still ain't listen what's good, but taught me the ways of that kids. Don't need me a pot, I can microwave with it. Went from that shit to the spot, now we live, but still running their mouth. They gon' die about them bitches. They bitches in most.
Eli, I told you before the show, I did not know the Lesnars lived in Canada. Apparently, the reason, remember when Brock had, I think it was the health incident that almost killed them?
Yeah.
So apparently, Canada, this is not a surprise, they have better cows, better meats and stuff. Brock only eats organic stuff. And for years, the Lesnar family has resided in Canada. And Brock is married to Sable. Their daughter, for years, was involved with pole vault. Maybe she gets into wrestling. I don't know. But here, Turk Lesnar, can you imagine getting smacked around by Brock Lesnar's son in ice hockey?
Yeah, that's like nightmare fuel, as Chad would say on prime time, like with the Stanford tree. That's like nightmare fuel. Oh my goodness, pal. Oh
He's beating people up. I think that was from the junior league.
Yeah.
He's up here beating people. So let me ask you this: if congratulations to Team USA Hockey, men and women, for winning the gold medal. But in 2030, USA and Canada rematch, gold medal match, and you got to beat Turk Lesnar. And let me add one more thing. Let's say you're watching the gold medal match, and let's just say, for hypothetical sake, because we're unhinged, it's 1:00 a.m. right now. Let's say that you were watching the gold medal match and Brock Lesnar was in the same room as you. Who are you rooting for?
I feel like you got to root for the USA still, bro. I mean,
no, I want my soul. No. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, no. If Brock Lesnar's in that room, oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm healing it up. I'm sorry. But Turk Lesnar, that was crazy. That was craziness. All right, we're going to send it home with this. Our very first, and we'll do this every Wednesday, our workout Wednesday. I do fitness for mental health reasons, but you can see results too. And every Wednesday, I do want to introduce something that can help with fitness goals and results and things like that. I want to stress, don't go in it with the standpoint of, I want to lose weight. Weight loss should not be your number one goal. Weight loss is actually the hardest thing to achieve. I'm not saying it's not possible, but there are unhealthy ways to achieve weight loss. Stress, depression, not eating, things like that. So, like, you can get weight loss in the worst way. But one of the ways, if you want to, the best way to cut into a little bit of weight loss, a little bit of healthiness and fitness and things like that. I kind of mentioned before, I work out Wednesday of the week. If you can, work your way to do a 60-minute walk on the treadmill. And the 60-minute walk on a treadmill during the winter can become a walk on the trail during the summertime when there's no snow on the ground. You build up the necessary cardio, like you're burning calories. It's really the best way to say it. Now, if you haven't walked that much, don't go in with the intent of doing 60 minutes. Start with 5, then go to 10, then go to 15, then go to 30, and then if you're really feeling it, do a little bit more. Lately, at least once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, I do 60 minutes. A 60-minute walk out of treadmill, kind of, various speeds, but do it at a low enough speed where you can last the 60 minutes. Don't do anything too crazy, but you'll be better off for it. Word of advice, though, when you're doing a treadmill, make sure you're not watching Cleveland sports while you're doing it. I did the 60 minutes on the treadmill during the start of the Cavs OKC game the other day, and I was freaking angry. I'm watching OKC put boots to to the Cavs, and I was just like, I kept hitting that up button, up the speed, and everybody's going nuts. Or people are looking at me like, is this dude crazy? Yes. All right, but yes, do the treadmill, and I think you'll be in good shape. All right. We're done for the week. Midnight run, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. I'll be back on the air Friday morning with the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast with my buddy Kyle Cornell. We'll preview the Elimination Chamber. I will also have a tribute or eulogy to the Vision because that group is done. They're dead. Everybody's hurt. Everyone's injured. Now, Bryson Reed is down. So we'll talk about that Friday. I got main event with Eli and Rob on Sunday. Remember, tomorrow, the Commissioner's Couch podcast, Ryan Mosser, David Calhoun, starts your Thursdays off. And then Inside Edge Prime Time with Eli Moon and Chad Bryant. I'm Double A Anthony Alford signing off. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again on Midnight Run Monday night at midnight. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, right here on the Inside Edge Network. Have a great day, everybody. And talk to somebody about Jesus. You'll be better off for it. Good night.